Hey wrestling fans, welcome to another episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic for October 2nd, 2016, episode 166. Tonight is the night. We are just a little over 2.5 hours away from Bound for Glory as TNA presents its biggest pay-per-view of the year. As I talked a little bit about yesterday, there is some talk about what is the future of TNA going to be like. As of right now, we're really not sure, but Bound for Glory will take place tonight and TV tapings this week. And as Dixie Carter said, there will be some news coming up, and she's hyping maybe some big announcements coming up either tonight at Bound for Glory or at the TV tapings. But we will just have to wait and see what these announcements are or what's going to happen and what is in store for the future of TNA Impact Wrestling. There's been rumors about the sale and everything. Rumors WWE has been in the bidding for it. There's been reports that Bound for Glory and this week's tapings have been funded by a third party that is not Billy Corgan, that is not TNA. So I have no idea who this third party is that the reports are talking about, who has funded TNA to be able to put on Bound for Glory for tonight and the Impact Wrestling tapings later in the week. But let's run down the card for tonight's Bound for Glory pay-per-view, the 12th annual Bound for Glory in TNA history. The main event, the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, is on the line as the Destroyer Lashley takes on Ethan Carter III, EC3. I predict this will be a very good match, and I think it'll be EC3 coming out of Bound for Glory as the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Like he said, EC, 3-time World Champion. And also tonight is the Great War. Broken Matt Hardy, Brother Nero, Rebby Sky, King Maxwell, Vanguard 1, Senor Benjamin will be taking on Decay, Crazy Steve, Abyss, and Rosemary. I believe this is going to be taped like the Final Deletion and Decay was, so I'm sure this is going to be very good and something you do not want to miss. And tonight is the finals of the TNA Impact Wrestling Grand Championship Tournament. It was originally supposed to be Drew Galloway taking on Aaron Rex, but it's been reported that Drew Galloway is injured and will not be able to compete at Bound for Glory tonight. So it will be one half of the Wolves, Eddie Edwards, taking the place of Drew Galloway to face Aaron Rex for the first ever TNA Grand Championship tonight. Also, Gail Kim will be inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame, the first female in the TNA Hall of Fame, and definitely well deserved. She definitely deserves it, and she belongs in the Hall of Fame for sure. And not only is she going into the Hall of Fame tonight. But Gail Kim is taking on the TNA Knockouts champion Maria for the title. So not only can she become a Hall of Famer tonight, but she can also become once again the TNA Knockouts champion on the pay-per-view where she became the first ever TNA Knockouts champion in 2007. Also, Maria's husband will be in action. The Miracle Mike Bennett will be taking on Moose, which I'm sure will be another really good match that could steal the show, in my opinion. And that is the card for tonight's TNA Bound for Glory pay-per-view, which will take place tonight live at the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. And trust me, you do not want to miss this tonight. Like I talked about just a little bit ago, not really sure what the future of TNA is going to be like. But we will just have to keep our fingers crossed and hope things turn out good for TNA Impact Wrestling. Of course, maybe we'll find something out at Bound for Glory tonight, and then Impact Wrestling this Thursday, and the other tapings at the Impact Zone. Hopefully, we will find out some good news. And that is all for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. And I hope to be back tomorrow to have a new episode recapping all the action from tonight's Bound for Glory event. And remember, you can like 360 Wrestling Podcast on Facebook and Twitter at 360 Wrestling Pod. The Instagram is 360 Wrestling Podcast. And you can find 360 Wrestling Podcast on iTunes and Google Play. And if you have any questions or comments, you can email lb360wrestlingfanatic at gmail.com. Also, stay tuned for more episodes coming soon of Clash Wrestling 360, the podcast that is all about the collective league of adrenaline, strength, and honor as we get closer to October 22nd, Clash from the Crypt, the annual Clash Wrestling Halloween show. That is all for today, 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hope everybody enjoys Bound for Glory tonight. And once again, hope to be back tomorrow recapping tonight's huge event. But until then, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.